The Pomson 6000 is widely considered to be one of the worst weapons in Team Fortress 2, but you do have to admit, it does look pretty cool, which is exactly why I decided to create a working version of it in real life. Now you're probably asking yourself, how does one go about recreating something like this? Well, let me show you. Okay, first things first, we need to figure out how the Pomson works to see if it's actually possible to recreate in the real world. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but the Pomson is actually modeled after props that a company called Weta Workshop sells. So for $4,000, you can have yourself a Pomson in real life. But the main reason I'm telling you this is because if we go over to Weta Workshop's website, we can see the full description for the Pomson, which describes itself as a subatomic wave gun that blasts out rapid pulses of high amplitude cross-spectrum radiation. I don't know about you, but I have absolutely no idea what any of this means. If you type in subatomic wave into YouTube, the most you'll get is a band that goes by that same name. Yeah, I'm starting to think that they just threw together a bunch of fancy sciencey words and just called it a day. So it looks like we're gonna have to rely on gameplay to tell us what we need. Now, if you take a look at the Pomson in action, you can see that it shoots projectiles that almost look like lightning bolts. Immediately, the one thing that came into my mind was the Tesla coil, which, if you don't know, was an invention meant to wirelessly power electronics. I mean, this thing basically shoots lightning. But if only we could create a handheld Tesla that was capable of releasing energy in a specific direction. Well, turns out it's been done before. And let me tell you, this thing looks really cool. Not only has it been built, but it's been built like a lot. I mean, if you want your working Pomson, there it is. So this is great news for us. The blueprint has been laid out and we can just copy and paste it into the cardboard prop, right? Well, it's not that simple. If you want the Tesla coil to shoot an impressive distance, you're gonna need bigger and better electronics. I mean, this dude is wearing a whole PC on his back just to get the thing working. I'd like the prop to be lightweight and accurate to the game. And while you could just buy a smaller handheld version of it, it just doesn't have that same wow factor. I mean, there must be something out there that could be a better option. So with that being said, I went back to square one and went on with my research. Turns out energy weapons that are used to do real damage like the Pomson are not too far from reality. The US Navy actually developed a laser weapon called XN1 Laws, which basically shoots an infrared beam that could do things like detonate explosive material, burn out motors, or fry sensors. And it was manufactured by the Kratos Defense and Security Solution. Now, obviously, we're not going to use military-grade laser weapons for our cardboard prop, but while researching, I came across something pretty interesting. They call it a plasma popper. All it is some flame traveling down a tube, but it really does sell the futuristic energy weapon effect, and it would look great on our prop. And speaking of the prop, we gotta make that as well. So now that we know what we're gonna use to get it working, let's move on to how I made the thing. Now, I'm not gonna go too in depth here because there was a lot that went into this specific prop, but basically I used the same process that I did in my sticky launcher video. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link in the description. But except this time I did something very different that I think you can apply to your own props for a much cleaner look. You see, in all of my other props that I made, the edges of the cardboard are exposed. You know, the side with the little holes on them. Well, in this case, I covered them up by ripping off a layer of paper from a separate piece of cardboard and gluing them onto the sides of the prop, giving it a much cleaner look with no holes exposed. Alright, now that I explained everything to you, I don't have any cool transition for this part, so let's just skip to the end. Alright, and there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have our completed Pomson. Except there's just one problem. It doesn't work. No matter what I tried, I couldn't seem to just get the flame all the way down the tube. At first, I thought it was my fuel source, so I upgraded from butane to MAP gas, but it still was not working. So then I just used thicker tubing and it worked. But this whole time, I had built the thinner tubing into the structural integrity of the prop, not knowing that it wouldn't work. So then I just wrapped it around the thing, called it a day. Looks kinda messy, but hey, works fine, and that's it.